Hey everybody, welcome to episode 80 of the Right Idea Workshop. I'm Ryan, your host with hosty powers, and this episode of the Right Idea Workshop is kind of a bittersweet one because it's the last episode that I'm going to record in our apartment studio in Cincinnati. From here on out, Justin and I, we're not living together. I have to move up in New York now, and Justin is still in Cincinnati. And our good buddy Tuller is moving in to help him out there, and is also getting into the whole stand-up comedy thing. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to continue trying to do episodes like through Skype and things of that nature. It'll probably be quite a while before ever gonna have a chance to do an in-person episode with those guys. But this episode introduces, as I mentioned, our friend Tuller. He's a very nerdy dude, so him and I, we kind of get into a big rant about primarily X-Men comics and character evolutions and things of that nature after briefly discussing some stuff about writing, which is always fun. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that we recorded this episode on a cell phone, on my cell phone primarily, because I didn't have my other recording equipment with me, but I wanted to get this episode down. So apologies for the quality in that regard, and apologies because this episode gets just a little ridiculous at certain points. There's quite a bit of drinking involved, and Justin gets a bit ranty, and there's also a clip show included at the end, kind of like one of those early 90s sitcoms, except it doesn't reflect anything that we did. Anywho, so sit back, enjoy this episode, and keep on writing, keep on working. Talk to you guys later. Peace. Indeed. Okay, so let me do a traditional intro here.
Yeah, please.
Welcome to episode 80 of the Right Idea Workshop. I'm Ryan.
I'm Justin.
And tonight we're joined by a replacement guest, David Tullard.
Hey, it's so nice to meet you guys.
Tullard is one of my good buddies. He's going to be taking up residence with Justin here in Cincinnati.
Do you remember that Red versus Blue newsletter that we worked on at Morehead State?
I do actually remember that shit. When that was way back when Ellis fucking still crashed there.
Ellis and Bam, yeah, all the best.
I know Tuller from way back in the day. Actually before Justin even. And
holy shit, that's right. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Although I know you before.
Yeah. Okay. I met both of these guys independently from meeting them as a couple, which I think is adorable.
He met both of us. He met each of us earlier than either of us met either of us or him.
My point is, I'm more hipster than any of you people that like Right Ideas Workshop.
And he has long hair to prove it.
But he won't grow a fucking goatee, so he can go to fucking hell.
I could and will.
I grew a beard mostly to defend the idea of my chin. So it's
You're like, not this chin.
It's here.
Not only do I have one, but it can grow a beard.
Yeah.
And I know I have a chin, but fuck. No.
So Tuller's a welcome addition, and we've actually tried to have him in the past on the show, and it just never worked out for Skype interviews and stuff. So it's really good to have him on now.
I'm just such a big goddamn celebrity. It's hard.
I'm just a huge asshole. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to make it to any of the earlier podcasts, but thank you guys for having me.
Hey, you know what? It's fine. You don't need to apologize because you can't make up for it.
Well, Tuller, what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit was a while ago you had a really good script that you sent my way, and I gave you some notes about it, and I didn't really hear anything about it after that.
Which script was it? Was it the Uncanny Valley script or the Weekend at Romero's script?
It was the one about the like slightly superhero people who were
good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to have you know that
and the Russians.
I'd like to have you know that Good Guys is really coming along. It's kind of taken a hit since Powers. That took a lot of steam out of it.
The TV show or the comic? Like, which one knocked it out first?
Big fan of the comic. Back when Bendis was talented.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind.
Back before he signed the Image deal and the Epic exclusive with Marvel.
I don't mind being that guy. Look, Bendis, if you're listening to this, Avengers vs. X-Men was bullshit, and you know it.
He knows it.
He knows it. I know it.
He doesn't know that shit.
No, I love the Powers comic, and I really love what they're doing with the Powers show.
Yeah.
Like, it's phenomenal work.
Fucking on PlayStation Network, it's great.
Yeah,
like,
if you guys aren't
you watched the first episode with me,
if you're an Xbox fan and you're not watching Powers...
I've not seen any of Powers.
We're going to rectify that immediately, because Powers is phenomenal.
The first episode is free to view on PlayStation Network if you guys haven't seen it already, from Season 1. And I
imagine it's free also if you view everything illegally.
Yeah, so you can watch the whole season for free if you do that.
I'm a big fan of illegal downloading, and I don't know if there's like a political stake.
What?
Downloading. I don't know if there's a political stake in the Right Ideas Workshop.
We don't give a shit.
What?
In that case, download that shit. It's phenomenal, and you guys are missing out on a great show. Even if you can't afford PlayStation Network or PlayStation 4, download that shit because it is great viewing.
If you get PlayStation 3, PlayStation Network viewing, it's $10. It's $10 a month. It's the same as Netflix.
Can PlayStation 2s do that?
No.
Well, they haven't been able to do anything since the Res HD relaunch, really.
I mean, PlayStation 2 was good for networking, but that was about it. Like, it had the same...
If you're Kim Jong-il and you're trying to launch missiles, PlayStation 2s are still great.
You can't do shit.
It's PlayStation 2. It came before the streaming revolution.
Do you know what came before streaming revolution? Fucking laptops. And I fucking watch everything on that shit.
So what we're saying is watch Powers, pretty much. Powers is great, and we're big fans of it.
Yeah.
And it's regionally produced. Like,
it's at least within 8 million miles.
I was going to say it's produced within the United States. Like, a lot of shit is produced in Canada. Mm-hmm. And there's no good reason for it.
Everyone likes the regional United States.
Fuck Canada and Alaska and Hawaii is what we're saying.
Mm-hmm. If you live in some place that's either real cold or very exciting, fuck you.
So we were talking about a script that I sent Ryan a few days ago.
Months
ago.
Days.
Like, I sent you a criticism about it.
I would say I might not have read it. So give me some feedback on this.
He said, "Fuck you for sending me that."
That's
first off.
That's Justin's criticism about it. I liked it because it was like a Black Widow script. Like, it was primarily very strong female-driven script about female superheroines that fucking kicked ass, took names, and did a bunch of shit. And it wasn't pandering in any way.
Thank you.
That
means a lot. Thank you.
Like, coming from the Joss Whedon school of feminism.
It's the only school of feminism worth a damn.
Yeah. And it upheld a lot of the same values that I see in, like, horror movies, that they try to push a female heroine first and foremost as the lead and stuff, and you're like, oh, she's gonna die. But it's not that. She's gonna turn around, kick ass, just like Buffy did. Like,
I was like, I don't know whether or not you realized this while I was reading it, but I have the character Wire, who is clearly a parody of Spider-Man.
Yes.
She actually turns out to be a woman as well. So I was very much writing from a Spider-Girl kind of standpoint on that. And
was it Mayday Parker Spider?
Like, that's definitely the Spider-Girl I think of because it makes me really uncomfortable to think of jerking off to Peter Parker. But I do. Ever since Ben Reilly and that cut-off hoodie, like, I've been jerking off to Peter Parker for a long fucking time, genetic or otherwise.
Have you read... Okay, let's go into the Spider-Verse because Justin's into the Spider-Verse.
Except for this current month, let me say.
So wait, like
I haven't got to pick up my books.
Pre-Spider Island kind of stuff? Or
no,
what?
This is post-Spider Island.
Okay.
Yeah, post-Spider Island.
This is when Marvel went all over the place and they started incorporating like all their Spider characters into things.
Yeah, when they like, because I actually have children. I have an 11-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and now every time I buy a lunchbox, I'm inundated with multiverse of Spider-Man, and that's weird to me. And it's not from like because I love Spider-Man 2099. I love the
Miguel is awesome.
Yeah, let's all get on board and say that Miguel.
Peter David.
Isn't that weird how so many. Everyone was on board with Miguel.
It's so weird.
Miles.
It's so weird to me from a generational standpoint that Black Spider-Man went from being the symbiote to being like an actual Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, but knocking it back a little bit is Peter David's 2099 Spider-Man was developed in the early 90s. And as an interracial Spider-Man...
wouldn't it be funny if there was a superhero that wasn't white?
Yes. And he fucking kills, and he's still around, and there's going to be a 299 book, and Miguel O'Hara... God damn it, not Miguel O'Hara. Miles Morales.
Miguel O'Hara was...
he's 2099.
He was 2099.
Yeah.
No, wait. No,
Miles Morales is the ultimate Spider-Man. He's the dude who took over after Peter in fucking Ultimate first when Peter died.
After Peter died.
Yeah.
And
Ultimatum. The terrible fucking crisis.
God, but the whole thing is like...
Thank you, Bendis.
He takes over after Peter dies and there is no Spider-Girl. And it's like...
There is a Spider-Girl.
There is a Spider-Girl in that universe. She's just ineffectual.
But she's
and Nod is fucking
Jessica fucking... What the hell's her name? God damn it. Can't remember her last name.
Not Jessica Drew. Fuck.
She is Jessica Drew.
She is Jessica Drew. That universe.
She took the name of Jessica Drew, but there was no Jessica Drew for that era, and she's a clone of Peter.
She's the Spider-Gwen of that universe.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I actually I have a clip here.
Yeah.
From a movie that we're going to produce this year, where she was actually in a fight against the Green Goblin.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I'm going to find a little bit of it here.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
I think that's incredibly misogynist because when you get knocked the fuck out, man, it implies that you're a male.
It does.
And she was able to do that without having a penis. I think that the problem with Spider-Gwen and the problem with female Spider-Man in general, because I'm a huge fan of like the Mayday Parker era, we were talking about this earlier, is that that's clearly the direction that the Marvel Universe is going in. They just don't want to acknowledge that superheroines have a place in this universe. Like, DC is kind of fostering this, like, false equality between Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman ever since the Trinity comic came out.
Well, the Trinity comic was a whole different fucking era as well, because like the Trinity era was trying to bridge gaps between those storylines, and then in New 52, Superman is fucking dating Wonder Woman, which just totally knocks her fucking legs out. When she's a strong, like, independent woman.
She's the only woman in the world to knock her fucking legs out of.
I want to apologize to all the Lois Lane fans, because that to me is like Lois Lane in her own right is like this Lex Luthor level superheroine.
Yeah.
Like, she's amazing. Like, she has journalistic integrity in a world full of WikiLeaks.
And in Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, when Lois Lane takes the Superman serum and then it's just like
Superwoman.
Yeah. And she pops up and she's just as good, if not better, than Superman.
In a lot of ways better than Superman, because she has humanity and it's not manufactured.
And she's designed so much better than fucking Superman because she's done by fucking
Frank Whiteley.
Frank Whiteley, who did the X-Men book for Grant Morrison.
The new X-Men starting at 126 on to 154. That's an amazing run, by the way. If you guys haven't gotten a chance, let's see, what was it? The final cap?
E is for Extinction was the first arc.
E is for Extinction all the way to the Day After Tomorrow. I want to say.
No, the fuck.
I say we're gonna go deep comic nerd on you guys now.
We could, but we're probably gonna stop. But
we'll edit this out in post.
Fuck. E is for Extinction 2. Not The Day After Tomorrow, because that's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Fuck, you're right.
But there is it's like a Days of Future Past, but not.
It's a better version of Days of Future Past. And if you guys are coming to X-Men...
Because it's all Sublime Court and Phantom X and a bunch of shit, but set way in the future with a fucking bird dude.
Oh, the ultimate version of fucking shit. Beak.
It's Beak's
It's
kid.
Beak's grandson, Tito.
Yeah. And fucking dude who picks up the Sentinel dude and Eva and some other people.
Just the best team of X-Men ever put together, really.
Like Beast, but way in the future.
Apocalypse Beast. He's the best version of Dark Beast I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's the Mangala version of Hank McCoy, which I think is kind of the arc that the character was always meant to take.
If you've been reading the most recent version of X-Men, as of late, issue 600 of Uncanny.
Hank McCoy is overreaching in the Marvel Universe to an obscene degree.
Have you read issue 600?
I would say I keep up with the Uncanny X-Men run.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that version of Beast fucks me up so much, because it's one thing to say, okay, so Storm's been in the Avengers and Wolverine's been in the Avengers, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are mainstays of the Avengers. Of course, they're not mutants anymore.
Which is bullshit.
But nobody's touching on the fact that Captain America has now been expressly created to exterminate mutants. He's Sentinel Prime, essentially. And nobody's touching on that, and that bums me out to such a huge degree.
He was Weapon Alpha.
It would explain so many of the plot holes. Bendis, I hope to fucking God you're listening. It would explain so many of the plot holes as far as brainwashing goes of why he's so biased against Scott Summers and the mutant agenda as a whole. And I get that by saying mutant agenda that I'm invoking all sorts of terrible stereotypes against the gay movement. I don't give a shit. I'm raw like that. And the Marvel mutants have always had kind of this internal political movement inside the Marvel universe, where they're actively, Professor Xavier was not the first mutant to come out in the Marvel universe. Really, if we're going to trace that all the way back,
he didn't come out till the 90s.
The 90s. Jamie Madrox came out as a mutant before Professor Xavier did.
My
he
boy
was
Jamie
in the Fantastic Four. Technically speaking, fuck all of you Namor fans, he was the first Marvel mutant.
Namor didn't even know he was a mutant until early, way late 90s. Because he realized, in comparison to the other Atlanteans, that he didn't look anything like them. He only had, minimal attributes, and he was fucking white. All other Atlanteans are blue. He's a white guy with wings on his feet. That's a weird thing to fucking come across. And then, in comparison to that, be oh, my people hate me. I don't totally understand why until I realize I'm not blue.
I really think including Namor in the team of X-Men that went up against the Avengers, that's essentially them admitting that they don't have that many X-Men characters they're willing to sacrifice. Namor, nobody gives a damn about the Marvel Aquaman. Nobody cares what Namor's political allegiance is. As long as they can keep Aurora and Logan outside of the conflict.
He's dead now.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Oh, fucking shit. I would say this is me speaking ill of the dead, but I've always hated Namor as a member of the mutant community.
No, Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine is, yeah, definitely. I was hoping you said Namor had been killed in an issue I hadn't read, but of course they're going to keep that piece of shit alive as long as they fucking can. I mean, I don't understand
he's
why.
He's a timely character. That's the only
reason.
But
they're never going to incorporate him into the cinematic universe. We're never going to see a Namor movie ever.
Probably not.
Just him punching the shit out of Exxon Valdez would be amazing.
Like he should have been in the most recent version of the fucking Fantastic Four movie, but they fucking failed on that.
No, they decided to waste their money on
another Doom ripoff.
On Power Rangers Doom. Like, okay, can I do a short digression on the Fantastic Four spinoff? Okay,
because I didn't watch it. So
holy fucking shit! Not only did I watch it, but I watched it with fucking rapt attention. Okay, so here's what they tried to do with the tie-in in Fantastic Four. And for those of you who haven't watched it, go ahead and count this as watching it, because I'm going to describe the key points in detail. First, not only do they touch on the fact that Sue Storm is white and Johnny Storm is black, but other than that, they never introduced the mother, an absent mother in comic books. Can you possibly imagine? But then on top of that, they decide that the 4 male characters, excluding Sue Storm, are going to travel to the Negaverse, and I'm going to go ahead and call it that, even though they don't ever use that term in the movie.
Without Sue Storm?
They don't. Sue Storm not being there is her reason for being invisible. Get it?
Fucking
oh, yeah, I know. I know that you people cussing at home, you are having the exact same reaction as Ryan. She's the Cortana of the team, and that's why she's invisible later, is because she experiences this psychic storm while she's not there. So, of course, she becomes invisible. Johnny Storm catches on fire while he's there, so he's the Human Torch. Reed Richards is stretching to reach Ben Grimm, who is covered in rocks, and so that's their explanation for their powers.
Man, can I interject?
Absolutely.
Because
of course you can.
I listened to an interview with Josh Trank, who's the director of the most recent Fantastic Four movie. He went into it supposedly with a body horror motif. Like, he was going into it with a sci-fi body horror, like, kind of feel to it. But this totally fucking betrays that.
Well, no, and I don't want to say that it's not like a total Cronenberg thing, because it could have been.
It's not, though.
No, he went into a lot of studio interference, and, like, this is the reason why.
There was a lot of studio issues.
And I completely understand that, but it felt very ham-fisted. And then the fact that the guy, and they totally cast Dr. Doom right. It's just that you don't see that character anymore after the transformation.
That's terrible.
It's shitty. He falls into this green lava pit.
Is it magic at least?
I mean,
is there any mysticism at all?
At all? No, none. Like
shit!
Like, he falls into this green lava pit, and that's his explanation for becoming Dr. Doom, is that he's been stuck on this asteroid out in the Negaverse ever since they left him behind, and so of course he becomes Dr. Doom.
God damn it.
If I were going to rank the Fantastic Four movies, it would be number 1, The Incredibles, number 2, the 2 Fantastic Four movies, and number 3, the Fantastic Four reboot.
I'd put it like, if we were going stone cold Fantastic Four movies. Yeah, Incredibles, of course.
Incredibles is a great Fantastic Four movie. If you haven't fucking seen it, they're doing a sequel soon.
That's a sort of movie that they should have done for the Fantastic Four in the first place. Fantastic Four, the first one. Any family-related sci-fi movie.
Pretty much anything except Fantastic Four 2.
Like fucking, was it Sunshine? That movie with Chris Evans where they were trying to do something with the sun.
Sunshine was the one with the guy that fucking Cillian Murphy, where he's
Cillian
on the space
Murphy,
station.
Chris Evans,
Is it Cillian?
and a bunch of
I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Cillian Murphy, because he's from 28 Days Later. Yeah. Him, Chris Evans, some other people. I'd put that way before I put the second Fantastic Four movie. And then this most recent one, the lowest of the list. I put 15 other movies before I put that.
I will give this the reboot. It tried so hard to justify why the Fantastic Four is led by Mr. Fantastic. They go out of their way to make Mr. Fantastic is the only one who doesn't buy into this government program trying to take over the Fantastic Four, trying to run the Baxter Building. But the way that they do it is by saying, you're the only one who can go in and stop Doctor Doom. And then when they get to Doctor Doom, he looks like fucking Ivan Ooze. He looks like Goldar. He's a version of a Power Rangers villain, and it's just so bad.
That's bullshit.
It is, because Doctor Doom is easily like better than Magneto. I would like to point this out as a Jewish comic book fan. Doctor Doom is better than Magneto when it comes to motivations of a supervillain.
He has gypsy prejudice. He has like a history of people hating on his people.
If I were going to rank all-time greatest supervillains, I would probably put Doctor Doom ahead of Lex Luthor, and I completely agree with Lex Luthor.
Like fucking Doctor Doom is, and not so much in Stan Lee's own words, but like if you read around it, like
Doctor Doom is Stan Lee in the Marvel Universe.
He's Stan Lee in the Marvel Universe. He's Stan Lee, like every kind of horror fantasy Stan Lee could ever have about being a Jewish writer, working in the American industry.
He is Dr.
being
Doom.
Persecuted by people who are at war with other people.
I don't think anybody's made this more clear than Matt Stone and Trey Parker when they were creating the what's his name, the villain version of Butters, when he shows up, Dr. Chaos. Professor Chaos. Professor Chaos and Doctor Doom are the same character because they're essentially outsiders in a universe that purposefully excludes them. Excludes them. In the same way that every single character in South Park is expressly not Butters, because Butters is an actual child. He's an actual fourth grader in a world full of people pretending to be fourth graders.
19 years that show's been on now.
Holy fucking shit. Yeah, I would say that's amazing they're coming on 20 seasons. Like, they're going to overtake South Park. Like, I don't.
They are South Park even.
I mean, that's the real tragedy, is that if Simpsons gets canceled while South Park is still on the air, then South Park is going to become the new
They're
Simpsons.
not going to be canceled. They'll retire.
Do you think the Simpsons will retire?
Because they've tried before.
We're going to have a whole separate podcast on the Simpsons, you guys, because I don't care if we have to get Ryan on Skype. We're going to have a whole separate conversation about the Simpsons. But likewise, just as Butters is the only actual the only 10-year-old on South Park in a world populated with adults voicing fourth grade characters, Doctor Doom is the only Slavic character in a world full of Slavic characters. Like, Ben Grimm ostensibly is a Jewish character. Magneto is ostensibly
a Jewish character.
He's Jewish in that he lives above a deli, but that's the only Jewish thing about him.
Bullshit, that's not the only Jewish thing about him. He's from Yancey Street.
I do love smoking weed and having sex with black women, but that's not my only Jewish quality.
He's from Yancey Street. Yancey Street, generally, in history, is populated by Jewish immigrants.
Absolutely.
The dialogue he gives...
Just like Queens is full of Spider-Man.
Fuck Queens.
I
love Queens, but, like... Ben Grimm, you listen to his exclamations, his...
Every time before I have sex, I do disclaim that it is clobbering time.
Aside from clobbering time, anytime he references one of his family members, anytime he goes into any of his back history... Jewish characters.
If the Thing had a cape, he would be the Jewish Superman. Because Magneto has a cape, he is the Jewish Superman.
He is. I agree with that. Like, you might not agree with Magneto's methods, but he is Jewish Superman.
No, I mean, up until, and this is really...
And that's also what makes Magneto so fucking
he's
dynamic.
so intricate as a character that he's willing to march human beings into cremation like tanks.
Like the Cullen Bone story, have you read it?
No, I haven't.
It's good because it really dives into that. Like, he realizes all the faults of his methodology.
People chewed on the Grant Morrison interpretation of X-Men, and I thought that was really unfair because Grant Morrison's just taking the character and turning it up to 11, which is it's the only time that Magneto is really tearing apart Manhattan, and it's coincidentally at a time where Bendis is really in charge of the entire Marvel continuity, where you don't have somebody saying, hey, this is happening in Avengers, this is happening in Fantastic Four, this is happening in X-Men.
Yeah, nobody's paying attention to New York at that time, of course, so he has that range.
He has the free reign to do that, and Grant Morrison is the type of writer to do that kind of thing. And so he's like, well, let's just go ahead and turn Magneto into Hitler. Let's just go ahead and turn him into the full evolution of that character. And
which is the whole Epi arc too.
Right.
When he gets to that point, it's when everybody's like, hey, guess what you turned into? And he's like, oh, fuck!
Shit, I accidentally became Hitler. I did not realize I was going to do that at all during my origin story in the Holocaust camps. I think that people choose the Grant Morrison interpretation of Magneto as the one to make fun of. But that's not fair, because there's so many versions of Magneto that are so over the top. The Jim Lee Magneto had him sitting on an asteroid.
Yeah.
By the way, that's Jim Lee's interpretation of Israel. They have him sitting on an asteroid separate from all of humanity saying, I'll destroy the entire planet. But they pick Grant Morrison's version saying, no, that's the one that goes too far because he destroys Jean Grey as the Phoenix. I think that that's ridiculous.
But also the Jim Lee version, him threatening with an asteroid above the planet is him threatening to wipe out the whole planet and the asteroid.
I'd like to point out, we're playing a drinking game right now. The only reason that Justin Atkins is not contributing more to this podcast is because he's doing the not quite fading in and out, which I think is the perfect time to go ahead and do a shot. So to all my Marvel fans, not only Justin Atkins, who I know has been reading Marvel comics since he hit puberty at the age of 4, when his first pubes came in. Go ahead and do the cheers, Justin.
Everyone, if your dick be as level as your dick, then Spider-Man is never, ever going to be a prick.
Cheers.
Amen.
Cheers.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Atkins contributing to the podcast. Oh.
Hoo-ha.
Woo! I feel like that had alcohol.
Grant Morrison was advancing the character.
Like,
he's been
Quentin Quire is one of the best characters to come out of the past 15 years.
We're gonna fanboy jerk off on Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men for like at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, we could.
For our listeners, also they're going to real boy jerk off.
Real boy jerk off, which means that the recording device that we're recording on right now is covered in semen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Quentin Quire is the natural advancement.
That's why I have
Magneto.
the fucking tattoo. Like, because he's the next
to clue you guys in, I've got a half-finished tattoo. Ryan has a completely finished tattoo. He's implying that I should impose his finished tattoo on my half-finished tattoo to finish my tattoo. Because I have the the Wando cover on
198.
On 198. On the side of my ribs.
Is that number 1 or number 3?
It was number 1.
Okay.
I would say I love the Sentinel cover, but 198, number 1, was the one that I chose to decorate the side of my ribs forever, because I don't really care whether or not women are into my naked body when I'm having sex with them. And so I've got the cover to 198, number 1, on the side of my ribs, and I've been trying to decide whether or not I want a Magneto helmet on them.
I like the Magneto helmet. I just say that you should get the new
X-Men.
Yeah.
Like, New X-Men is named after the New X-Men, so clearly Quentin Quire is the centerpiece of the story. And then on top of that, he has a small piece in the, what was it called? Not The Day After Tomorrow, because that's the Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's Mark Silvestri draws
Tomorrow
it.
Never Comes?
No,
fuck. It's something involving the word tomorrow.
It's
if I had a more useful person on the keyboard, he would totally be Googling this shit. I would say Ryan is totally taking the counterpart.
Shit, I can't reach the fucking mouse.
I got this, don't worry.
Give me a Google page.
I'm pulling up Google right now, because that's the most useful shit that you can possibly have while doing a podcast on comic books.
Click on the search bar.
Wait, hold on. I know it too. Hereafter Tomorrow, it's something. Grant Morrison.
It's not Invisibles.
Grant Morrison, not Invisibles, is what we're talking about right now. Are you doing okay, Justin? Justin is ostensibly hosting the podcast, even though we haven't heard from him in more than 45 minutes now. We had a lot of whiskey going into this podcast.
Here Comes
Tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Planet X was the precursor. Here Comes Tomorrow is the Mark Silvestri.
Ryan, while I've got you on the podcast, I really want to get your interpretation of X-Men 92.
The new thing that came with the Secret Wars story.
Yeah, dude, it's such a slap in the face of X-Men fans.
It's not a slap in the face as so much as it's a hey kids who watch this cartoon on Netflix, the X-Men are still around.
Literally snoring now.
Welcome to most of the podcasts that I have to edit. But it's not a slap in the face to X-Men, because the 92 X-Men cartoon was the primary launching vehicle for a lot of people who didn't read the comics.
I'm definitely going to agree with you on that.
And they got into it that way. And
it was my introduction to a lot of 80s storylines, like the Shi'ar conflict with
Phoenix Saga. Phoenix Saga. Like, that's where all that came from. So people got into it that way, and then they backtracked. Like, I got into it a little before 92 because I started out with Batman.
Oh, the Batman animated series or the original comic?
Well, I started out with...
before there were 6 Batman
I got
comics.
the Batman animated comic, and then went into Spider-Man animated comic, and then went into the animated series of both of those.
I see.
But I'd read the X-Men comic, not animated.
Before they did,
during
what was
all
it?
of those.
There was a comic just dedicated to the animated series called
it was Tales
of the X-Men or something like that. Yeah.
Fuck, what was the name of it? God damn it. Charles Xavier's Children of the Atom, something X-Men, something. Do you want a shot, Justin?
Yes.
You also have a full beer right there.
Yeah, according to the online card playing game that we have, I don't have Joy-to-Key keyed into his computer right now, but that's definitely what's in order right now. I would think he's gonna be awake for when we actually do these shots.
It's okay, I gotta pee first.
So, so long as we're clearly doing a digression on just stuff that we're going to listen to later, I want to talk about some of the key elements of Here Comes Tomorrow, which was that Phantom X was going to be a pivotal part of the post-90s X-Men universe.
It wasn't even that he's going to be a pivotal part of it. It's, well, okay,
he's Apollyon and all of that stuff.
He's tangentially a part of the future because he was Weapon 13, and Ava is an extension of him. Ava...
For those of you who aren't aware, Phantom X is a reference to the Phantom Moss character from the crime noir version of Phantom Moss.
Yes.
And EVA is a reference to Ava, who is his basically Miss Moneypenny of the French spy version. So I definitely thought that Eva and EVA were going to be part of X-Men realizing this post-human version of X-Men, where humans and Sentinels and all of this post-human society we're going to be reflecting on.
Well, did you read the stuff that was pre Here Comes Tomorrow?
I loved the James Rhodes headed Sentinel-1 program, which, like, I kind of thought Marvel would incorporate that in the cinematic universe, considering how similar the Marvel Iron Man stories were to the Sentinel program.
They did have that offshoot book with a dude named Justin who had that Sentinel-1 with stars in between 1 and 0 and E. I can't remember his name, but he was actually a member of the Guthrie family.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any power, so he befriended the Sentinel. And
For those of you listening to the audio commentary, we're gonna edit this out. But that's Justin S. Adkins, alias Sadkins, snoring on our podcast right now.
Sadkins. We're talking comics, man. You're snoring a lot into it. And you have a full beer and a partial shot.
You guys are listening to a real beer being cracked open right now.
We can reuse the sound effect for ages.
Oh, that's amazing.
Man, that's gonna...
So what we're currently discussing is Grant Morrison's involvement in the evolution of X-Men.
Yeah, guys, gay or not, it doesn't matter.
That's absolutely true. For all the people that are talking about Iceman coming out as the original X-Men who turned out to be gay, I want to get Ryan's interpretation of Beast coming out as gay almost 10 years previous to this.
Two things I have to say about that is, first off, the initial interpretation of Iceman coming out as gay. Beast fucked up the timeline, so...
Oh, so Beast coming out as gay doesn't count at all.
No, this is pre-Beast coming out as... He's not even coming out as gay.
He's ironically gay in the mainstream universe.
He's not even coming out as gay. If you read the book, he's coming out as disinterested because he's afraid that he's not human anymore.
Well, on top of the fact that any woman having sex with him is going to be accused of bestiality anyway.
Yeah. But the Iceman thing... Beast fucked up that whole past timeline by bringing people into the future, so they're going to be...
I mean, Dark Beast at the very least. Some version of Hank McCoy has fucked up the entire timeline.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing what any of those characters are thinking for themselves. And personally, I always thought after Beast mutated himself... and not in the Mutant X storyline where he turned himself into a child wonder.
Can we talk about the Mutant X storyline?
Please, that's my favorite fucking book.
Holy fucking shit. It's totally my favorite book as well. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar, Mutant X is a version of Havoc, the guy who fucked up in Canny Avengers.
Before he fucked up in
Canny Avengers. He was the headline of this amazing book.
It was a X Factor spinoff. It's the inverse and alternate reality of the end of X Factor, and it's so goddamn good.
It's the greatest. If I was going to recommend a 90s X-Men
I have
book,
every single issue.
Mutant X is definitely the one that I would recommend.
I have every single issue, and in issue 39, a letter of mine is published in it.
Holy fucking shit. Okay, so for those of you who are, downloading comics, you should look for... Did you
issue
include
39,
the name?
Yeah.
Issue 39.
When I was 14 years old.
Holy fucking shit. So 15 years ago, Ryan was on top of this shit. I'm a huge fan of Mutant X, and this book was it laid down so many ground rules for the modern Marvel Cinematic Universe. Really,
it did.
The governmental role in superhuman politics.
It set up a line that if the Netflix movies if the Netflix movies really wanted to run realistic to it, this is where Frank Castle would go after the next season of Daredevil. He'd get incorporated into S.H.I.E.L.D. and be hunting mutants and humans. That's a next level shit. But they probably won't do it just because that's too involved, and because Samuel Jackson is such a big ass character for the Marvel Universe as a whole. He's a great Nick Fury. There's so many roles and things that he achieves as Nick Fury.
I think Nick Fury as the unit that holds the Marvel Universe together as a whole, that was really introduced in Mutant X. Because he was tying together Storm is a vampire but she's not separate from the mutant community, and
she's a rogue vampire in that,
right,
because she's not in league with the rest of the vampire nation.
She directly opposed Dracula.
Yep.
And there's so much in it that lays the groundwork for the modern Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And it's also a huge tie into the Inferno era, which is really good to me.
That's a deep 80s reference.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't familiar, Inferno was an era where it was totally okay for Wolverine, currently played by Hugh Jackman, one of the best actors in the modern cinematic world, to eat a baby. Like, he ate a baby in that universe. And the fact that...
Because he was feral.
Yeah, that's fine. He's demon-possessed. He ate a baby. Not that big a deal. But Inferno is such a huge moment in the X-Men universe. And it's kind of almost brushed over, especially in Secret Wars.
Did you read Inferno?
I loved Inferno.
Inferno was pretty great, except that it wiped out the entire X-Men except for like 4 people.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I grew up basically with the 90s X-Men animated series as my intro to X-Men, and then the Konami arcade game as kind of my introduction to the comic book universe, where Wolverine is clearly Australian, pretending to be Canadian. So Inferno was kind of my introduction to the Marvel universe as far as like reading comic books goes. Like, as far as my reading order goes, I pretty much go with Inferno and Maximum Carnage.
For the Marvel universe?
Yeah. Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
That's my introduction to the Marvel universe.
My universe goes not uncanny, but Untold Tales of Spider-Man number 38.
I probably start with X-Men as far as when the first time that Magneto sucked the adamantium out of Wolverine, so I want to say that's Uncanny X-Men number 5.
No, that's X-Men number 2.
Okay. So, the very first
time...
Because
it's a Jim Lee X-Men story.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I started in the holographic, cover version of Marvel, and that was kind of my first introduction to not only purchasing comic books in an addictory phase, it was also my introduction to how they're going to market comic books to me. And I kind of got okay, so Quicksilver is clearly a member of Avengers, but I also...
In the early 90s.
Right, in the early 90s. I also got that he's interested in mutant affairs insofar as it relates to his father. You checking to see whether or not this is still being recorded?
Yeah. We're still good.
Looks like we're still good. And so that first time they go up to, was it Asteroid M?
Yep.
And Colossus, who I've kind of been introduced to the video games as a mainstay of X-Men, as working for Magneto. That's kind of my baseline for, this is the soap opera dramatic version of X-Men that I'm going to be getting used to, which is good guys becoming bad guys with Colossus, and bad guys becoming good guys as far as Magneto goes, as far as the entire version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe before they started introducing cinema into this universe. And to see the X-Men evolve, it's almost like the soap opera of X-Men introduced the soap opera level into the Avengers movies, where Black Widow is having sex with the Hulk in a not quite so, but definitely quite so version in Avengers 2, that I was able to tie this entire universe into my development as a teenager. And to tie it all into the Dark Phoenix saga, because I think that's a lot of people's entry point into the X-Men universe.
I wish that they did the Dark Phoenix saga a little better. That's my biggest hang-up with all the X-Men movies.
With the X-Men animated series.
Well, no, the X-Men animated series did it okay. The movies did not do it okay.
Oh, no. I would say, I've watched all 3 Twilight movies with my girlfriend. And yeah, I know, and it took a serious hit on my soul. But then I watched X-Men 3 on repeat, and that's the definition, on repeat, with my girlfriend, because she said that was the best X-Men movie. And to watch, I know, for all of you listening at home, I know that that's much harder to do than watching all 4 of the Twilight movies. Is watching X-Men 3. Yeah, I watched all 4 of them. And watching X-Men 3 on repeat is so much harder on my soul because I give a damn about those characters.
Yeah.
Whereas what happens to Edward and Jacob is kind of ancillary to my life. Whereas what happens to Jean Grey and Wolverine, that very much inhabits a part of my Saturday mornings.
That's very ancillary.
It's
a
most ancillary.
It's extra celery.
It's extra celery.
the fucking Twilight of it is a Shakespeare light
But
tale.
essentially it's the same story. It's 2 characters who can't die because we know Bella can't die because of the plot, and we know that Edward can't die because of the rules that have been laid out in the movie. So Jean Grey and Wolverine are essentially occupying those same roles.
Yeah, but in the original, Wolverine isn't the... and
he's not immortal. His blood hasn't landed on the Omicron crystal yet.
Yeah, it's Scott. Scott is the keynote, and Wolverine is the person.
For those of you
hope.
listening that are Twilight fans, Scott Summers is the Jacob of this storyline.
Yeah,
guys, can I
please contribute for the first 45 minutes?
Can I play a clip?
Absolutely. The last time you played this clip before you fall asleep was fucking what was his name? The fucking black guy from Rush Hour.
Yeah, and it still looks like he's got some Rush Hour clips pulled up, so let's do some more
Rush Hour. No, this is actually
Friday?
No, this isn't Friday.
It looks like Friday.
No, this isn't
That's
Friday at all.
Ice Cube.
No.
And I see Friday up and down the screen. Friday's best bits, Craig's first joint Friday. It's Friday, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no shit to do.
Hey, you know what? Fuck you. This is Professor X.
Okay.
Alright. Reacting to this whole situation.
Let's go, Professor.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this.
Turn the volume
But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
That's what Professor X had to say about that, and I felt that was primarily I felt that was out of character.
You thought Professor Xavier was out of character in the Friday movie.
In the Friday movie, I didn't think the Professor X seemed like himself at all.
Before the Days of Future Past movie, yeah, I'd agree with you. But when Bryan Singer took over the remainder of the movies, sent it back into the past, and Professor Xavier was kind of a heroin addict. Yeah,
a lot of a heroin addict. He was willing to trade his legs for the ability to see into the future.
Not even to see into the future, to see into everybody.
To see into human.
That's the thing that fucking Pete Holmes got wrong that pissed me off so much.
Is there half of that full of beer?
Here, hold on. I'll take care of that.
Is half of it full of beer?
Pete Holmes had a skit on his show before it was canceled that...
did Pete Holmes' show get canceled? That's a bummer. Like
his show has tried to establish...
You're typing nonsense
that
right now.
Professor Xavier was a telepathic and a telekinetic. He's not. He's only a telepathic.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's a huge division between, I think, 2 generations of X-Men fans.
Jean Grey is a telepathic and telekinetic.
Yeah. Okay.
Xavier is not.
No.
Quentin Quire is a telepathic and a telekinetic.
Professor Xavier is not.
He is not. But he's just such a good telepath.
He's so good at telepathy, he can make what he sees real. That he is telekinetic, but
he convinces people that what he's projecting into their mind is real, and then they think that he's a telepath, but he's not.
For those of you who have played the Konami X-Men game, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. Monkey Wa Old Flanra Money Wa. It were Bubuffet, it were you, it were Fliver.
You're reading inane Google translations right now.
I'm translating for a Taiwanese audience.
I would say,
everything is one finger off. I am transcribing this for people who read.
Saying if we cut off one finger, you'll be a more essential podcast host.
I'll be immortal.
If you don't know what is going on, there is a monkey and the size of a new burp York.
For those of you just joining us, Justin is introducing in the podcast Google searches as a way to contribute to the podcast. I want to get back to what we were talking about, which was the Konami version of the X-Men arcade game, the 6-player version, which is probably the penultimate version of X-Men. It's tragic that we have to talk about that as the best version of X-Men, but given the Marvel Cinematic Universe...
Did you ever play X-Men Destiny?
No, I did not. I skipped
That's
out on that
actually a pretty good game. That's a good game.
Because it struck me as a Grand Theft Auto interpretation of X-Men.
It's not. It's more of a Final Fantasy version of X-Men.
So does the guy who controls Earth, does he actually influence the plot of X-Men?
Yeah.
Does he?
Like, you pick your central character, you get to do a little bit of character design around it, and then you get 2 chapters chasing magma. And then after chasing magma, you get to decide what powers you have.
For those of you not familiar with the X-Men universe, magma is the Marvel universe version of Terra.
Yeah. She came out at the same time.
Not coincidentally. I feel like we've gotten sidetracked deeply from talking about Ash versus Evil Dead. But that's okay. We're going to fix it all in post.
Yeah.
I'm too drunk to read the comments.
Mine was about the power of dick.
Yeah, someone trying to take my shit too serious. It's about literally the power of dick. Joe Bates.
Yeah, Joe Bates.
Yeah. Didn't mean to shout you out that big, Joe Bates.
Joe Bates.
But now you got out. Oh, look. Jay Armstrong knows we're drinking the 8-star. Now Jay Armstrong knows you're a fucking loser.
Not a loser, just we're only able to afford, what was it, 8 Bates?
8 Bates. He only got the 8 Bates, but we didn't go to heroin first.
No, I would say 9 Bates is a completely separate version of drug addiction that we're not comfortable with.
I was going to say that Toller looks very ladylike in that picture.
Yeah, he's a beautiful. You're a beautiful woman, right
Thank
there.
you. I definitely take the compliment implicit in that criticism.
Gonna click that one. It doesn't mean shit, cause of ya.
So we've been recording for an hour and 40-something minutes.
Jesus saves you from hell, and you can't find nothing inside a cabbage. If you ain't got it there, you ain't found it. You ain't nothing but shit.
Now, at this point in the podcasting, Justin couldn't really keep focused on conversational things, as if you couldn't tell before with the sleeping, and it kind of devolved into a clip show. So, please don't sue us for any of these clips that you can find on your local YouTube. Cheers.
We just moved here from Australia. It's nice here in America.
Yes, it is. How old are you?
I'm 6.
I'm 6 and a half.
I'm 6 3/4.
I'm 6 4/5.
I'm 6 in infinity.
I'm 6 in infinity plus 1.
Mike Myers and Nicole Kidman.
This is where milk comes for the baby.
It's not the whole bit. That's not the whole... Fuck you. It's not the whole bit.
With the breach of 3 levees protecting New Orleans, the landscape of the city has changed dramatically, tragically, and perhaps irreversibly. There is now over 25 feet of water where there was once city streets and thriving neighborhoods.
They portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know that it's been 5 days because most of the people are black And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
In the past few days, America and people have been stepping up to donate money, to do all they can to help.
I'm sorry, but did you guys know that?
Yeah.
George Bush didn't care about black people.
And that second that George W. Bush won the electoral college.
My God. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
He doesn't even care about us, and we're not even black people.
George Bush will never. George Bush.
George Bush might care about black people, but I don't think George Bush would ever care about black people.
No. You think Jean-Claude Van Damme will ever accept your friend request?
Yeah.
Good.
Because I love them in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
You motherfucker.
Alright, everybody. So that's going to close out for episode 80 of the Right Idea Workshop. I'm Ryan.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Tuller.
Thanks, everybody. Keep on writing, keep on working. Episode 81 coming out later this week. Peace.
Peace.
Best thing to real friends.
The Right Idea Workshop. www.therightIdeas.org. The Right Idea Workshop.
That's, yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not like life-threatening or anything.
Where's your flag, Tuller? Is that still there?
My flag?
The rib flag, is that still there?
I just slept.
Did you get it? You never finished.
I never got the Magneto on it, no.
Alright.
I keep waiting for Magneto to put out a quote that I really fucking like. I think I'm just going to go with the helmet.
You gotta get this just on it, man. Like, no, there it is. You just get that. You just fucking get the black version of that on that. Because it's he hasn't had a significant storyline since.
No, he hasn't, and that breaks. On top of the fact that he's not Zorn at all, apparently.
And the Magneto, like, there was a Magneto book recently that was good, but
we were talking about the Thing and superheroes who happen to be Jewish.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like, Magneto is the closest to a Jewish Superman that we're ever going to get.
He is Jewish Superman.
He's Jewish
he's
Superman.
not very.
Okay,
I'm completely with Ryan on this.
Hang on for a second. Superman was made by Jews.
He was, but he's not Jewish. He's clearly Protestant.
He's the Supermensch made by Jews.
Sure.
Which is a Protestant.
That's hurtful. You fucking hurt. Like, there's a lot of hurt now.
Hey, am I the one hurting, or is that Joel?
I'm feeling Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster right now.
And Max Flesher.
And Max Flesher crawling through my soul. Just be like, bullshit. And then Brad Meltzer is going to come up and sue you just a little bit later.
No, I think Brad Meltzer's on my side.
He's Jewish.
Hey, you know what? One of them.
Have you not?
Even the dead ones proved me wrong by now.
I took the book back. I was going to say the.
Hey, did you take my copy
Eli
of the
Wiesel? is going to
the
kick your
Sun
ass.
Bros,
There's 2
The
volumes of
Apocalypse
Sun
one?
Bros sitting over
no,
there.
yeah,
Or the
no.
other one?
You guys are more Jewish than I am.
I tried to get him to read that. I tried to get Toller to read that.
Because I hadn't read it.
Yeah, he hadn't read it, but it wasn't in my fucking boxes.
There's 2 volumes sitting right over there.
You had 3 copies of Sunbro stuff over there. There's 2 right there.
Where?
And then
I'm
they're over
going to
here.
find it. Look, I've been here for less than a week. He knows where it is.
Right here. These are Sunbro's books.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Why didn't you fucking tell me that?
You
When I was telling you, I was going to have you read it.
Because I read the Lightning Saga instead because it's written by Brad Meltzer.
Read Monkey Fist.
I read Lightning Saga because it's
goddamn
the more
idiot.
Jewish of the 3.
Because it's written by Brad Mills.
Thank you.
Look at my cat. My cat's up here on the table. It also has a beer and a shot, apparently.
I should pour the cat a shot. Do you think it would drink it?
You have the Apocalypse one in a bag on the board, right? Apocalypse Man?
It's got to be in one of your
Yeah.
It's got to be in one of your long boxes.
It's
right?
It's in one of your long boxes because
I don't own Apocalypse Man.
Yes, you do. It's a zombie one.
He's
the one
so
that they
goy,
had
he
all
doesn't
the,
know what's in his long
issue
boxes.
1 Apocalypse Man.
Yeah, because that's the
Oh,
only
now
one that
you
they
know
did.
what we're fucking talking
Well, it's
about.
not a fucking
You're
volume
doing an
Toller.
accent now because you're talking to me and that's offensive.
No.
Oh, he's doing an accent because he's talking to me. And I,
You're doing accents because you're talking with me. And this is fucking offensive.
smack the door.
I'm so glad my cat's in the house. There were 3 cats when I went to the store earlier today, and I swore they were my cat. And I was like, my cat got outside. I know it did.
I have 4 cats at home now.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
that's ridiculous.
We were actually joking about the difference between old cat ladies and old cat men. And then, what was his name? The old stand-up comic that fucking went up and talked about, what's his name?
Big Dick Long.
Big Dick Long.
That sounds like a Korean comic, and I don't think that's right.
You don't think Koreans are funny?
I don't. For a lot of reasons, mostly StarCraft.
They're pretty funny there. They're all like,
the guy
gay.
that everybody calls Dad at the stand-up shows.
Vince? No.
No, but he hasn't seen Vince Velocevich.
Oh, he hasn't. Who else?
Is there a guy named Vince Velocevich who is not a Velociraptor? Because that seems unfortunate to me.
That is totally unfortunate.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vince, but it's unfortunate. You should be a Velociraptor.
Who else is called that? Jason Goodall?
Yeah, Jason Goodall. Did a fucking bit about how if you're like he was talking about how cat owners and dog owners are different. If you have 15 dogs, you're a nice person. If you have 15 cats, you're crazy. And he made it gender specific, and then he pointed out that if you were a man, that you'd still be crazy. I say you're less crazy if you're a man. It's just people are going to assume you're a widower.
I can see that.
Because my dad went to jail for a year, came home to 37 cats. Left with 3, came home to 37. That's the significant difference.